Hello, I'm Ben from Modern Self-Protection, and today I'm going to be talking about the Kel Tec Sub modified, all sorts of stuff. So what I have on here right now is the optic on the bottom, and this is a Northwest or Midwest Industries mount. The problem I found with it is it has to rotate so that you can unfold the Kel Tec and then rotate back. And well, one, that takes time, but that's not too bad. But then when the mount still kind of moves a little bit, and when I'm looking through it and I'm actually shooting it, and I haven't even shot this one yet, I'm just borrowing it from a friend, but I can see the dot move when I'm doing dry practice. So I know that the dot is moving, and I'm pretty sure it's the mount because I can wiggle the mount a little bit, and I can feel the optic moving. I'm pretty sure it's not the optic. So I got a suggestion from somebody that, hey, how about you try a quick throw mount? So I bought some stuff, I went online, did the super cheap thing, and I went to actually Amazon and bought UTG mounts. So this one's a mount for this style optic, and this is a quick throw that I'm hoping to modify so that the mount is a quick throw mount. And that way, my idea is that I can have the gun and have it folded up, and either I can be crazy and just mount the optic right here so it never leaves the gun, or even mount it back here where there's some Picatinny rail, and just so the optic's always attached to the gun. If anything happens, I can pull it out of the bag, flip it out, just use the iron sights if there's no time, and then if I have time, I can throw the optic on top and then have a much better shooting gun. So I'm gonna take this optic off and see if it fits and see if I can make the throw lever, and then I'll find out if this optic is actually bad or the mount is bad. When you see the dot move when you're pulling the trigger, I shouldn't say when I'm pulling the trigger, when it goes thunk, because this thing has like this giant spring and hits it with real authority. When that happens and it goes clunk, I can see that dot move. So I'm gonna pull this thing apart and we're gonna go put it together right here together so we can see what happens. And it's all Torx bit heads, make sure you have the right stuff, all that cool jazz. But I got this from a reader that suggested it to me, so I thought I'd just try it and see what happens. And this is going to be easy because I don't have to take off this mount. I'm going to leave the Midwest mount just off to the side. And if this optic's bad, I have a different one. This is a Romeo 4, I believe, and I don't really like it. The Romeo 5, I really like it. I have another one, actually got two of them, and really like that one, the price and everything. This one has the night vision capability if you're into that, or if you even have night vision. I don't, so it doesn't matter. Before little Torx bits, and that's easy. And then we're going to play and modify this mount. So I bought two UTG things because they're supposed to be the same, and we'll see if they did the cheap manufacturing thing and used the same size bolt and everything, which I'm hoping they did. Because if they did, what'll happen is I can take this mount, and I can take, and this cost me all of like 30 bucks. Take this quick throw lever here, which I'm going to take off, and then put it over here. So let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, these are nice. This may not work at all, but I'm going to try it anyways. Nope. Totally designed differently. So that sucks. I figured it out. Totally designed differently. Not going to work at all. So that one's out. But I might be able to throw this mount and a Picatinny mount. Not this optic, but I have another optic that's got a Picatinny mount to it, and see if that works or not, and then I can re-zero everything. And of course, you know, it's all in the way. But the quick throw mount would work, and hopefully would stay the same because it's pretty close, and the tightness is good. So, it won't fit back there, but honestly, I could mount it upside down and then it would fold. So, I'm going to get a mount and see if this works. Alright, I grabbed an old mount out of a Romeo 5 that I had lying around because I got a couple of those. And the Romeo 5 and the Romeo 4, same mount, same everything. Pretty smart by SIG right there. And it's actually the same mount as the Aimpoint T1 or H1. So that's kind of cool. You see the 4 holes and the dot in the middle, that's generally it. So all I'm going to do is screw this thing back together and then put it on top of the rifle, and we'll see if it works. All right, I put all the screws in there loose, so the optic's still loose. Old school thoughts that I always want to do is mount the optic to the hard spot. So, you know, turn it on, make sure you're looking at the right side of the optic. But here's the back and here's the front of the optic. When the rifle recoils under anything, the rifle's going to try to move underneath the optic, and the optic's going to try to stay put. The heavier recoiling rifle, the heavier the optic, the more that's going to be a problem. These stupid little light things and the 9mm doesn't recoil enough, but I'm just so used to it that when I tighten the screws, I will actually push the optic as far forward in the mount as it will go and tighten it up. And you can see every optic mount will have a little tiny bit of play. And this one's just a hair. But so I'll push the optic forward and the mount back, so when the rifle recoils, the optic doesn't shift. And if it does shift a little bit, what happens is you just loosened all those screws and it'll rock back and forth under recoil all the time, and eventually your optic mount will get loose. Like I said, with a 9mm, probably not. 5.56, stuff like that, probably not. But, you know, why even chance it? Especially if I'm putting this stuff on a fighting rifle. So I put that one on, and I'm going to do the same thing with the front one. When I put this on, and see, I'm right-handed, so I'll put the throw lever on the right-hand side. Does that sound like a good idea? So I can flip it in and out real fast. And then the SIG mount does not want to fit real well. Oh, one of those cool mounts. All right. So some of the mounts, like the SIG, this one, you pull the bolt all the way out, slide it on there, and then put it all back together. Some of them will just pop on and off. This one, nope. Screw it in there until it's a little loose. You can hear it rattling in there, and then I'm just going to push it all the way forward with my thumb and tighten it down. And 9mm recoil, not that much. I got aluminum on a piece of steel here, so that's a little different. And then unfortunately, I got to get rid of the Northwest Industries mount here. It's kind of in the way, so out it will go. So much for the M-lock. Now, if I just shove this thing on, what I'm thinking is if it goes on in the same spot every time, it would be good to go, right? And so that's part of the reason why I bought some of these LaRue mount tactical things, so I could put it so it only goes to the same spot every single time. And I got the cool camouflage ones, but these are just black plastic that snap on and off. Look at all of them. They snap on and off the top of the rifle. So really what I wanted to do was take a couple and cover up and make sure that the optic would only go on one spot. I don't want the optic to go on anywhere else besides there. So if I take a couple, now when I set the optic on there, you see I got those couple around, so it won't go on anywhere except for that same spot every single time. Then the same thing, gets it in there, push it back. Now, I can actually turn on this optic and look through. So let's see, if I pull the trigger on this thing now, the optic doesn't move, there's no bounce. Now I've got a pretty cool little rifle. And it's a third MOA down, so I can still almost use the sights on here still, but I think that might work pretty well. So when I take the thing off, if I just take it off and flip it over, I don't know, I'd have to practice this and see which one's going to be the best. And then I can fold it up, still I hope, and just barely. So those little mounts right there, I'm going to have to pull them off and shave them off a little bit for the rail covers, because they don't allow it to totally snap open, snap closed. But, you know, there's the idea, is if I just do that and then flip it over, now it's set. So I put this together and I'm looking at it and I don't like it. you see the throw mount, and the throw mount is forward when it's locked. I always feel like something's going to get in there and it's going to get caught and it's going to flip this mount back and the optic's going to fall off. So I'm actually going to pull that apart, put it on the other way so that when it'll be on the other side of the rifle, but this way, when it's locked down, it'll be more locked down, and you can see, actually if you look at it, this is the way this one was designed to be, and I just put it together backwards, and that way that less stuff can catch on it. So it's going to have to be on that left side, and I'm going to have to learn left-handed. But this is going to be a practice where I'm going to have to, you know, snap that thing on the bottom, be able to unfold the rifle, get it ready, and then whip that out, flip it around, and then snap this thing in. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have to tighten that mount because it's moving around. What I'm going to have to do is see if this is going to be repeatable or not, is going to be the question. And as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be repeatable at all because the mount's moving around. So let's see what we got. Looking at the Kel Tec, I don't think they made their, oops, now I can't get it off. So when they made this, looks like it humped, or it was two pieces that are screwed together. So there's a little hump in the middle, and that hump in the middle is making the optic be able to rock back and forth. So to make sure it's not the mount, I got something else sitting over here. I'm just going to throw the mount on this one and see if it's rocking back and forth. Nope, solid, sturdy, it's not moving at all. I can feel it not moving at all. So thank you, Kel Tec. So if you're having problems with your Sub 2K and the optic moving and zeroing, that might be it, because I can feel it when I put it on there, but the stupid thing rocks back and forth, and so I know it's going to do that under recoil. I guess the question is it going to matter enough? Can I get it tight enough to where it's not? Or if you're a good gunsmith, which I'm not, so I'm not going to do it on this rifle, especially because it's not mine. If it was my rifle, I'd just go ahead and do it. You could try to flatten out those with a file, because it's only plastic. So if I filed these down so they were flat, then I would probably have something that would work. But for right now, the optic moves, and it's the rifle's fault, not the mount's fault or the plastic. So I've got another problem with a Kel Tec I have to solve. And I'm trying different spots on it and see they're all the same everywhere on this rifle that I put one of these. All the interesting things that you find out when you start actually building stuff. Everything is just theory until you put it on a rifle and start doing it. Everything you do is just theory until you actually get out there and test it yourself. Nothing is the same. I'm working with this Kel Tec, and I'm running into all sorts of problems when I had my theory of just mounting an optic to the rail on top. And you're supposed to be able to mount the rail or the optic on the rail without any problems, according to everybody and everything. But I found problem after problem with trying to put an optic on this Kel Tec. So here I am working it again to try to figure out how to solve that problem. So do you do that? Do you actually go out and test all your gear? Everything that you use for your self-defense and for your survival, for that matter, should be tested. It shouldn't be something that you just go, oh, I read it in a magazine, it looks good, I pulled it out of the box, put it together, or just left it in the box and it all looks great. Well, manufacturer defects, things that don't work like they're supposed to, all of that stuff. Have you actually tested it? Have you actually put it to the test? I find every time that I put myself and I put my stuff to the test, I find something, a la Kel Tec, that doesn't work like I want it to work, that has some weird, crazy thing that it's not supposed to work or doesn't work like it's supposed to. All of that stuff is weird. So, you know, now that I got this optic set up right, does it work? Do you test your stuff? Do you put it on there? Do you move it around? Do you dry practice with it? And then, oh, it was sitting and now it's not. It's moving around. So that didn't work at all. I still got a rail that moves. So see, theory, test, theory, test, theory, test, until you find something that actually works for you. So I'm going to take this one to the range, I'm going to leave the optic where it is, and I'm going to shoot it some because, well, I want to shoot it some, and then we'll see how much that movement matters. Does it on an optic? Yeah, it's going to matter. I'm going to go test it to test it, but it's going to matter. And I might have to just take a flat file right here and get rid of that stuff. So, this is a video from Modern Self-Protection. Hope you enjoyed it. I cut out a lot of the parts so that you didn't have to be bored watching me try to screw things together, but you can see what I'm thinking with this rifle. And really what I'm thinking to deploy this rifle is if I have it all folded up, magazine, empty rifle, it's going to go in a bag like over here, and this one is so flat that I can probably stick it in the front section of the bag and use the back section for stuff. I do like that. I was using this CZ over here to put in that bag, and when the CZ folds up, it takes up way more room than a Kel Tec. But, so my idea is I can pull it out of the bag, flip it open, and now I can actually just charge the weapon, and then I would be good to go just like that, and I can use the iron sights. If I had time, take the optic off, flip it over, and get it on there. See, this is going to take practice. And then turn it on and be ready to go. So at least I would have something, and that's the thought. If it works, that's not a bad self-defense weapon. And then the other problem I have with the Kel Tec is that, 17 round magazine, 30 round magazine. 30 round magazine is cool, but it starts to get bigger than the rifle, and that makes a problem. When I fold it, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. I take this off and put it over here and do all of the things. So the rifle gets bigger and bigger. So I'd have to go with a 17 or maybe a 20 round magazine in there to start with, and then I could put 30s in there. And since it takes Glock magazines, they're everywhere, right? Anyways, I hope you're testing all your theories. I hope you're not just buying a gun like this, folding it up, throwing an optic on it, and throwing it in a bag, thinking that's going to be the end of the world for you, and if you need it, you just use it. I got news for you. It doesn't work like that. It's going to take a while. You're going to have to test this stuff, and you're going to have to go through a couple iterations to find something that works for you. That's the hard part, but it's also the fun part, because you get out on the range, you get to do your tabletop gunsmithing, and you get to, use that analytic mind of yours and solve a problem. So go out there, test all of your stuff. Grab it, test it, see if it works, see if it doesn't. Find out what you can make work and find out what doesn't work. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Ben Brown with Modern Self-Protection. If you want more great stuff, go to modernselfprotection.com.